This is getting out of hand.
Alert says 32 Venezuelans are trespassing the building, showing in the courtyard.
Alright guys, quick disclaimer before we get too much into the topic. Just so the way you guys know that we're not talking about all Venezuelans. I think that they're very lovely people. Like, it's starting to feel like this whole situation with the migrants and all this crazy stuff is planned. It has to be planned. It's so out of control. Like, at first I hear about Colorado, now I'm hearing about Chicago. And it seems like nothing is even being done. They're like, yeah, they're having all these. I can't even think of the name.
I'm not on this plane with you, so you can land it by yourself.
It just seems like they're allowing it to get out of hand, and everybody's just kind of watching with their like shoulder shrug, like. Okay, so what do you disagree with me about this? So you said that.
I just don't. So see, whenever I hear conspiracy theories like this,
how is it conspiracy? They're literally taking over apartment complex.
No,
on the news.
The reason behind it, I know they're doing it. I'm saying you're making it seem as if there's a government agency behind it. Right? Maybe the local government or the federal government is sending them out there. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, bro, they're giving a lot of these immigrants loans. They're giving them a lot. That's why I'm saying it. So I'm like, how is this not planned when you have people that are coming from something with nothing, and then all of a sudden they have a bunch of stuff that even regular Americans can't get?
I think the only way that it would be planned is if it's indirectly. In other words, they're not stopping it from happening. They're not. I don't think they're really someone's behind them going, "Hey, go take over this apartment complex." There's just like, "Oh,
no, that's what I'm saying, though."
Okay, well that makes sense.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I thought you meant like they met up in a boardroom, like, "Listen, what's on the agenda? All right, how are we gonna get these migrants to take over these apartment complexes?"
No, I don't think that's planned. I think like to let a whole bunch of people in. I think that's planned, but then I think them not doing anything is just like.
I got you. I can see that.
You know,
I can see that. I still don't know why. Because what does that do for the? How does that?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what their bigger plan is. My main thing is, why are we giving the bad people that are coming from these places fuel to do this kind of stuff? I don't know. It just seems very ridiculous to me. And I can't see how someone could ignore this issue on the polls. Like, I think that this is going to be one of the biggest issues that we see in this election.
I would imagine. But speaking of the polls and politics, what states are these type of things happening in?
Sanctuary cities.
New York, Chicago,
Sanctuary
California.
Cities that voted for this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, part of the accountability also goes on them for it because, I mean, they voted for it. Mm-hmm. Like, you said you wanted it, and you got it.
Liberal policies. Yeah, man. So, not to say that I'm, like, against liberal policies completely or against conservative ones, but I'm not for every single policy that each side has. There are some that are good and bad on both, right? And this is one on the liberal side, I think, could use a little tweaking. I mean,
they've gone way overboard, bro.
Yeah, crazy.
They've gone. I mean, there's some of them that are in hotel building, like just think like to me, and I don't have an issue with any of those people or anything,
unless they're actually bad people.
I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously the bad people I have an issue with, but to me, it's just like when you see veterans don't get treated like this. To me, I just think it's crazy. Especially me, I have family in the military, so to me, I'm thinking like, okay, well, you can't do this for them, but.
Yeah.
People who just come here, you can do all of this.
Yeah. But I will say the clip that we're going to put in here about the guy who's talking about how, you know, if you run up into the wrong apartment complex, don't be surprised if you're met with response as if you were back in your country, he said something like that.
This is the warning. Stay neutral. Take this like a grain of salt if you like. This is just like where you from. The only difference is we got switches. If you're not familiar with what a switch is, we will show you. This ain't like Colorado.
Well, essentially what he's saying is that if the government is not going, if the local government or the police or whatever are not going to solve the issue, essentially they're going to resort to mob justice.
I believe it. In Chicago, I 110% believe it.
I believe it. The civilians will take matters into their own hands. So don't run into the wrong apartment complex building. That's all. So, which obviously is not what we want in the U.S. We want law and order.
Yeah.
But sometimes the civilians have to create that law and order. That's what he's saying.
I mean, that's what happens when there's no police. That's why I've never been a fan of defunding the police. I always thought it was stupid.
That's a silly
because
thing.
I'm like, if you think about it, you have a mother, let's say you have a niece, you have a sister, you have anybody, and you're not there. I mean, what's going to happen to them? I mean, it's not a Marvel movie. They're not going to turn into Black Widow and be knocking out 6'5" guys and like, you know, you want the police around to protect people that you care about. So.
Yeah, the defund the police is just an overreaction to some things that happened, obviously. I mean, I'm not saying I agree with the guy. I'm just saying I believe him.
I fully believe in Chicago. I fully believe him,
He's very calm in how you describe it.
and that's probably one of the reasons why I believe him.
Oh yeah,
Because the calm people are always the craziest people.
yeah. He was just trying to say matter of factly, just don't try it. He wasn't even saying please try it because we want to be about that life. He's saying please don't, because if you do, things might happen.
All right, guys. So ultimately, I'm going to say it's a bad decision. There's definitely a lot of policy problems that need to be worked out. There's a lot of problems with immigration that needs to be worked out. And this 2024 election will definitely be an interesting one.
A bad decision for these people to be running into these apartment complexes. That's a terrible decision. Bad decision for the lack of police response. So I guess it's bad decision. Bad decision all around. Yeah.
All right, decision makers, let us know whether or not you think this was a good decision. If you think, yes, let them run in there, then you're probably out of your mind. Leave a like, leave a comment. If you said, no, we need to clean this up, leave a like, leave a comment. All right, guys, don't go run in people's apartment complexes.